Hey, this is Aditya from LightHaven. Today we are going to be beginning a series of videos where we explore the 5 attack subsystem from Pekiti Tirsia Kali. Today we are going to be looking at the differences between the 5 attack subsystem and the 12 attacks or our Abecedario. So let's first start with what are our 5 attacks. So our 5 attacks are essentially, this is my angle 1, that high forehand diagonal. This is my angle 2, that high backhand diagonal. This is my angle 3, that low forehand diagonal. This is my angle 4, that low forehand reverse diagonal, and this is my angle 5, that low forehand thrust. Now there are different variations of this which we will talk about later, but these are essentially what your 5 attacks are. Contrast this to our Abecedario or our 12 attacks, which goes something like this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So these are, as you can see, quite different to the 5 attacks. The 5 attacks are focusing more on diagonal lines, not always, but most of the ways that we see them, most of the ways that we use them, most of the variations that we see most commonly are focused on diagonal lines and reverse diagonal lines, whereas the Abecedario you will see a lot more horizontal lines. You do see diagonal lines in your 6 and your 7, but they're less. You see more thrusts, and you see slightly a different variation of movements also with 11 and 12, where you have more sort of close range, extreme close range type of movements, which again you don't see necessarily in the 5 attacks. But these are still very surface level differences. The actual differences go way deeper. Firstly, when we're talking about our Abecedario, and why I'm calling it 12 attacks and not 12 angles of attacks is because one of the most important parts of the Abecedario is not just the different attacks and memorizing them, but also their targets, right? The targets form a really big part of what makes the Abecedario special. So my number 1 and 2 targets, for example, is I'm hitting the temple, I'm hitting the elbow, and elbow for my 3 and the 4. That 5 is a low thrust to the groin. The 6 is a slash from the clavicle all the way down to my opponent's toe. 7 is hitting my opponent's knee. 8 is a reverse thrust to the armpit or the heart. 9 is a thrust to the throat. 10 is a slash all the way down the middle of my opponent's body, down center line. 11 is to the bridge of the nose, 12 is again to the bridge of the nose or the throat, and my hand is around the groin. Okay, the application is a bit different, but these are our basic targets for our attacks, right? My 5 attacks are more closely linked to what we call the clock system. So my angle 1, for example, I am going to hit 1 o'clock on the clock system to 7 o'clock, right? So if 12 o'clock is in front of my head, 6 o'clock is in front of my groin, my angle 1 is 1 to 7 as a fluid slash, or just 1 o'clock as a broken slash. My angle 2 is 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock as a fluid slash, or just 11 o'clock as my broken slash. Now angle 3 and angle 4, this differs. Now I learned 5 attacks directly from Grant Tuhon, but I learned it relatively later on in comparison to a lot of other Tuhons. I know that, for example, Tuhon Bill McGrath does 3 and 4 kind of up here, and obviously he's Tuhon Bill McGrath, he's much senior to me, I'm obviously not going to say he's wrong. I can only present to you what I have learned in the version that I have learned, right? For me, the way I've learned 3 and 4 is that it's lower, it's going from 7 o'clock up to 11 o'clock, and 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and angle 4 is 7 o'clock to 1 o'clock. The idea is that I am not just going 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock and 7 and 5, but I'm also changing levels. So my first 2 attacks are high attacks, my next 2 attacks are low or medium attacks. The other idea also behind training it in this way is that we want the full range of motion through the entire diagonal line. What that means is that when I'm doing diagonal lines, I am covering essentially clavicle to hip, right? If I'm doing an angle 1, I'm covering clavicle to hip. This is really helpful for when I'm attacking somebody, but also when someone's attacking me, it allows me to pick up all attacks that are coming to me anywhere from here all the way down here with my angle 1. Same thing for an angle 2. I can pick up any attacks that are going to come across any of these lines. I can intercept anything that's coming across these lines, right? So when we are going all the way down from down to up, or all the way up from, all the way down, from up to down, and all the way up again from down to up, we're doing this to teach ourselves the full range of motion so that I can pick up something here, I can pick up target low, I can pick up a target medium, I can pick up a target that's high. Same on the backhand. I can hit a low target, I can hit a medium target, I can hit a high target, right? I don't need to train 3 different versions of the same attack to be able to get all of this stuff. I get just more bang for my buck, which is why in the beginning we talk about the clock system so much in the 5 attacks, and we go 1 to 7, 11 to 5, 5 to 11, 7 to 1. Those are my first 4 attacks. And then of course that low forehand thrust. The 5 attacks, when it's first taught, when it's first introduced to people, it's slightly more at the basic levels. We're just trying to get you guys moving and fighting, and again just like thinking combatively. And so the 5 attacks is a good way to introduce these principles to you. And so because of that, oftentimes we're focusing on that number 5 thrust as opposed to adding in the number 8 and the number 9 thrust as well. The number 8 and the number 9 thrust can come in later when you're a little bit more experienced, a little bit more coordinated. But till then, that number 5 thrust still gives you the idea of the thrust, and it's something that most people are able to do. I want to take a quick break in the video to tell you a little bit about the exclusive content that we offer on our YouTube memberships as well as on our Patreon page. On both pages, we offer extended versions of the videos that go out for free on YouTube. But on our Patreon page, we have 3 series that happen only there. There's the drill of the week, where I look at double stick, single stick, double knife, single knife, stick and knife, empty hands, and I give you a series of drills that you can spend the entire week practicing. There's something called a 2 Horns Training Thoughts, where I give you my thoughts about teaching, fighting, my approach to training, how I prepare fighters, just my approach to the martial arts. And lastly, there's a series called Ancient Arts, Modern Warriors, which is an opportunity for you and for me to geek out on the martial arts together. We're talking about the evolution of the martial arts, how different martial arts connect to each other, their relevance, just a longer extended talk on the martial arts. So if you'd like to know more about any of this, please do check out the links in the description down below. Now back to the video. Now we can take this clock system concept even further. Right now 12 o'clock is in front of my head, 6 o'clock is in front of my groin, which means 1 o'clock is somewhere here, 11 o'clock is somewhere here, 5 o'clock is somewhere here, 7 o'clock is somewhere here. However, I determine how big or small that clock gets. I can have it a big clock where again 12 is in front of my head, 6 is in front of my groin, or I can shrink the clock down to as much as I want and have it just over someone's eye. So 12 o'clock is up here in front of someone's, just above their eye, 6 o'clock is just below their eye, which means that now I have a system of targeting a very specific point. So now I'm just looking to hit that eye, right? So you start to use that clock system as a way of targeting rather than just as a reference point for solo training. In the beginning, yes, it is a reference point for solo training, but again, later it becomes kind of your crosshairs, right? You're imagining it in your mind's eye and you're putting those crosshairs on whatever target you want. It could be someone's knee, for example, in which case 1 o'clock would be down there. I'm going 1 to 7, 11 to 5. So 5 attacks starts with looking at these big diagonal lines going across the body, but eventually when you start to use it in coordination with the clock system, which in my opinion it's supposed to be used in coordination with the clock system, then it becomes kind of like your crosshairs and you are able to use it as a targeting system for the entire body. You can use it to hit the elbows, you can use it to hit someone's eyes, someone's nose, someone's knees, whatever. The 12 attacks in comparison are just about hitting specific targets. The temple is always going to be here, you know, unless if I'm fighting someone taller or bigger, that temple is going to vary. Of course, if I'm fighting, for example, a really tall person, the temple could be up there, but I'm still striking the temple, right? And the 12 attacks is giving you a separate attack for each of the major targets that in Pekiti we believe that you should be striking. Whereas the 5 attacks is giving you a more kind of fluid system that can adapt to whatever needs that you may have in that particular fight. I need to hit the finger, boom, I have the accuracy and precision because I've trained myself to hit 1 o'clock. I've trained myself to hit 1 o'clock all the time. And so when I shrink that down and I'm just targeting the hand, If I want to hit the hand, I'm going to hit the hand, right? That's the idea. In practice, it's a little bit different because things are moving and things are happening, and it's not as easy as when you're training by yourself, but that's the idea. That is giving you a system to be able to target whatever it is that you need to hit based on the situation that you are in. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like and share this video. If you have any questions or any comments, please do leave that in the comments down below. Please do subscribe to the channel. All of these things really do help out the school and the channel a lot. A huge thank you to everybody on our YouTube memberships and everybody on our Patreon page. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you'd like to know more about the exclusive content that we offer on either of the two pages, check out the links in the description down below. Lastly, thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video.